How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Just want to make a short video because there's really not too many out there on this rifle. This is by Noreen. It's called the Noreen BN36. This is built by Noreen Firearms. They're out of Montana. Going to talk about the company for a minute. Going to talk about this rifle and why it's kind of cool, why you really don't see them, and get you up close to it a little bit. So anyway, this is made by Noreen, started by a guy named Peter Noreen. Guess what their goal was to try and bring about, with this rifle anyway, a modern day M1 Garand or kind of M1 Garand type of rifle, something that shot 30-06 reliably. Anyway, that's what they have here with their Bad News platform, which is based on an AR, BN36, Bad News 36, chambered of course in 30-06, which is what the M1 Garand was chambered in. Anyway, they also popularized the 338 Lapua Magnum in an AR style as well. It's kind of what they do. This is an original generation BN36 that came out roughly around, I think, 2013. They have a new one nowadays called the BN36 X3, which is just a lighter, more ergonomical, easier to carry around and shoot version of this. Looks much more like an AR-15. This is a lot heavier than that. This is a looks more like an AR-10, as you can see. I mean, it's much more beefy, definitely heavy. We'll show you exactly how much it weighs shortly. Anyway, so that's what they wanted to do. So they've been making these. They're kind of like a smaller mom and pop shop, I guess, Noreen is. So anyway, you don't see too many of these around because they're kind of expensive, but they're definitely a novelty piece. They're very accurate and they're fun to shoot. So I guess we'll start with, well, make sure that it's got nothing in it. And mag release like a normal AR, right there. Look at the size of that mag, it's huge. Just lay that down. Okay, so this will lock back when the mag is empty. Just show you that. So your bolt, reciprocating bolt, it's not the style that you would normally see on AR-10 or AR-15, where the bolt, the charging handle's back here. Big ergonomically, maybe you can see that on the side, big ergonomical textured bolt handle attached to the bolt. So that's pretty cool. That locks back. That's really easy. So really, it's got the AR style safety right here and bolt release. So kind of ergonomically just like an AR. But this is kind of different right here. So anyway, we'll release that. Drop the mag. And yeah, of course, that doesn't lock back. Won't lock back. This thing is probably around twice as heavy, almost twice as heavy as an equivocal AR-15, not including the scope. This gun is made in the country. This is not exactly how you would see one out of the factory. This is mag pull furniture on the back, which of course has adjustment for length of pull and height right here for your cheek. Nothing's been done really aside from that. We have a Wheeler scope mount and a scope from
China.
It's 4x1650, and yeah, this is sighted in pretty good. These are pretty accurate. Definitely could use I guess we'll say a bipod in the front. That would be a nice upgrade for something like this, just because it is so heavy and hard to hold. So it's got your sling mount in the front here, it's pivoting, and back here if you want a sling. Let's see. Guess we'll get the scale out, show you how much it weighs. Now keep in mind your regular AR is around 6.5 pounds. So we're going to get our super accurate scale here. So we're going to take probably maybe half a pound off or something for the scope. I hope you can see that. Yeah, so it looks like right about 12.5 pounds. Doesn't really feel like that. Most of the weight obviously is up here in the barrel, very heavy barrel comparatively to the rest of the gun. So, like I said, shoots 30-06, pretty big blast. I mean, this does soak up quite a bit of recoil. Wouldn't say it's the easiest gun to shoot, just because it does have quite a bit of recoil, and it kind of throws you off when you're looking through the scope. I mean, anyone that shot 30-06 knows trying to get back on target after you've already shot, it takes a second. You know, the great thing about AR-15s is they have virtually no recoil, very little, so it's pretty easy to continue to be on target. So anyway, these are not cheap. The new versions are even more expensive than this used to be. Definitely hard to find on the used market, just because they're kind of a novelty piece. Pretty fun to shoot. Kind of sucks sighting them in, depending on how much 30-06 is where you are. It's not that bad up here where we are, but anyway, yeah. So kind of easy to take apart, just like an AR. I mean, there's just a couple steps to do it. We'll show you that in a second. But yeah, just wanted to do a general overview on the gun. This is a BN36. We'll take a closer look in a second. Okay, so we're just going to give you a little bit closer look at this thing, kind of really let you see the scale of this gun. So first of all, we'll take it apart in a second. So here's your mag release right there. Pretty much, you know, just like a normal AR. But I mean, look at that mag. Think about it. That's pretty huge. I mean, anyway. So, I mean, bolt handle. That's that big bolt handle I was talking about. I mean, that thing's massive. This bolt's massive. Barrel, muzzle brake. It's just huge. I mean, this is pretty heavy up here. This is metal. And this receiver, lower, it's all beefy stuff. So, just gonna give you a look over here. You know, regular, you know, your safety, and your bolt release. So, keep that in safe. And pretty much comes apart like just your regular AR. So, comes apart like that.
Hey.
So,
oh, yes. Charlo. It's Mr.
Yeah.
Dean.
okay, sorry about that. That's actually why you lock your doors. That's kind of interrupted there. Anyway, gonna just take this thing apart real quick. Oh. So, push that pin like any other HR or AR. That pops up, and the bolt's a little bit different to get out, just because it's got this huge. Actually, drop that mag. You know, it's got that huge handle. So what you're gonna need is well, they probably gave you an Allen key with this. I don't remember it though. To get in there to get that out, we're gonna use a 3/16 Allen head bit for a ratchet. Get that out, which I have right here. Just a couple threads there, and let's see if that'll focus. You got to be really careful with screwing this in, because there's just a few threads in the actual bolt, and you could strip it very easily. So just got to be very careful. You don't just until it stops. Basically, don't want to even. I wouldn't even snug it. So be very careful with that. So then your bolt slides out the back. Look at this thing. I mean, that's huge. That is one beefy bolt. But as you can see, it needs to be clean. Please ignore that. But pretty easy to get apart and clean. I mean, operates just like a regular AR. Obviously, there's a couple things not present, like that dust cover we were talking about earlier, and it's got the charging handle in a different location. But pretty cool. Man, this thing is beefy. But anyway, it just slides right back in. Push your pin, and I'm going to reattach this. Being very careful not to see right there. I mean, it might be a little loose, but this actually spins. So there's your side profile. And just want to get the other side. You can actually see in there branding, and that's how that looks. Trigger kind of it's not the best. Somewhat heavy in my opinion. Anyway, that's it. That's it. Your BN36.
There's also the side handles. You did get that.
Oh, great.
That's the problem.
Oh no.
Okay.
From here is better.
Where'd you go?